to Kirk Herbstreit talk the other day. I think it was Monday when he was on the McAfee show, and they basically asked him what he thinks about how this whole thing is going, and he thinks that eventually it's going to turn into 4 power conferences, basically, of super teams, of like all the top teams, and then they're going to break away from the NCAA and get their own president and all of that stuff and kind of run their things their way, how they want to do it, since there's a huge discrepancy between the bottom teams and the top teams. And he was just talking about the rankings, how it's like great to see these teams that normally we don't see ranked in the top 25, ranked in the top 25, but then you look at who they play and stuff like that, and it's just like there's no way that they're going to make it there to the end.
No, yeah.
Because these bigger name teams play bigger name teams, and that's just what gets there. So, yeah, it's just dumb how they do it, because they're not expanding the playoff.
They're not anymore?
Pulled back.
Like,
yeah, like it's not happening.
That's interesting.
Yeah, the vote didn't go through.
So they're just going to keep it at the 4 then?
And they're hoping they don't want to go to 12. I heard was the biggest reason why it was no, is that there's not 12 top fucking teams in the country.
Yeah,
like there's maybe 6, there's 6, maybe 8.
Yeah.
I mean, 8's even a stretch on some years, where more times than not, it's really 2 teams that dominate everybody. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's a stretch to get it that far. Like, I get that it's awesome for these schools to like make it to the playoffs and stuff like that, but it's just like those schools, are making more money, but are also losing more money because they're probably not going to end up winning. So, it's kind of like a loss.
Yeah.
And he just said that there's a lot of people don't feel like there's that many good teams. So why should we have to pay the money to go do all that stuff just to go get our ass kicked for being the 12th team? So that's why I guess it didn't go through.
Yeah, and then plus with 6, if you move it, like 8 would make the most sense. Having 6, you'd almost have to administer buys to like the top
2,
top 1 or 2, and then, I don't know how they'd even do that. Plus, then playoffs would take such a long time to where it'd take a month and a half if you go to 8 or 10 or 12 teams.
That's why I think 6 is like almost as far as you can stretch it. You give buys to 1 and 2. The next 2 teams play on each side. Whoever wins plays the bye teams.
Yeah, basically the old NFL format before they moved it to 7 teams.
Yeah. I mean, that makes sense.
Yeah.
To make it more fair, you don't let the bye team have a home game. You do it neutral site.
Oh yeah, they're all at neutral sites once you get to the playoffs.
It shouldn't be though. I feel like you should get home advantage for making it, because that was another thing with the playoff thing too. Was a lot of teams that wanted they wanted a home game at their stadium for the top seeds. It's just like that'd be cool because you're kind of going on the road. Just like when you do in the NFL, you're on the road at somebody else's house, and especially for a playoff game, that's got to be so intense, like crazy fans and stuff like that. So you'd think that whatever school would be hosting would make a shit ton of money, but like the team that's traveling is probably losing.